Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Demo, and we're gonna be covering what's called support and resistance. And as you can see in this graph, we have multiple of those candlesticks, right? So regardless of the time frame we're in, candlesticks are going to be just an accumulation of price over a specific time frame. Okay, so for instance, let's just say this was a 1 minute time frame, right? In 1 minute it opened at around the 1.08990 range and closed at around 1.0925 or whatever. But and then we had the price movement. The price ended up moving all the way down, almost to 1.08, and then at one point ended up going all the way up to 1.09320. But what I told you is I was going to teach you how to a little bit more advanced with the price action, or technically that's what this is called, price action. It's where you have actual movement of the candles, and we're going to be putting them together and actually learning of what we can use these candlesticks for. And what we're looking at right now is it's how we're going to identify a support zone, which our support zone is actually going to be at the bottom of this picture right here. You see this red line? This red line right at 1.08547 is going to be what's called a support line. Support is where buyers tend to come in, right? So if the price does come down to this area, buyers could start buying it up, and this is where you could end up putting you could be end up looking for entries to the plus side, right? So how you identify support and resistance is where you see these bottom wicks. It's where you see a lot of rejections at around the same point. And so the reason why we have why we have it here is because we've had multiple rejections at this point, right? So we've had more rejections at this specific point. Therefore, we're calling this a support area. You can turn it into zones, which I'll go more into detail on that, and maybe next video I'll do a more advanced support and resistance. But for starters, we're just going to do this line-based support and resistance. So you have support right here at this red line, and you can see it because you have on the left side we have these candles that had a rejection right at that point. Then we had this candle near the center of the screen that ended up coming down, testing that area, and ended up rejecting off the bottom to going up to the plus side, right? And then we came back down to that same area, had some rejections, taking it back up, have more rejections in that near that area, taking it up. Therefore, we can consider this area to be a support area, right? Where all the buy orders are starting to get placed. And now we're going to go on to what's called resistance. Now, resistance is where they keep the sell orders. Okay, this is where if we hit a certain area, we could expect it to end up going to the downside. So we identify this the same way as we identified support, except it's going to be on the top. So as you can see, we do have a lot of wicks at the top, right? Which you're looking for more wicks at the top near the same area, which shows rejections at that top point. So if we do see this at where we do at the 1.12247 area, we have all of these wicks, and we're trying to go based off the most wickage, right? So the most amount of wicks we can get is where we're going to mark our line at for resistance and or support. And therefore we had the most wicks to capitalize on at that 1.12247 area. Therefore is the reason why we marked it as resistance. And we had our first point where we saw rejections near the top left of the screen. And then near the middle of the screen, they came back, retested it. Price fluctuated a little bit around there. But as you can see, ultimately they all closed either on that line or below the line, which is what we're wanting to see. And we came back slightly to retest it, ended up just getting sold really quick, came back, retested it again, and then sold off once again. Therefore, we can see that that's a strong resistance area, right? So if it comes back into that area, we could be looking to short the market, meaning that we're betting that it's going to go down. And this is how you could put your sell entries, right? You could do that, or you could be looking to sell off of that specific area. And then we're going to go on to what happens if support and or resistance actually gets broken. Okay, so as you can see, we've got this coming in. It's hitting specific bottom points, creating our support, as you can see drawn by the support line. And then right above it, we have some rejections at this top line, which is resistance. Okay, so say we end up going into an uptrend and it ends up breaking right above our resistance. What happens to it, right? Well, resistance, if resistance gets broken, it can act as support. That works the same way the other way around. So if support gets broken, it can act as resistance. This isn't a guaranteed thing, but it is. If it's a strong resistance line and then it ends up getting broke, it actually could be a strong support line as well. And that shows in this display, right? So we broke right here in this yellow dot. We came up, created a new resistance, which we won't know that until after this second part came in touched, but we came in, bounced off of this previous resistance, right? This was previous resistance, which now acts as support. Bounced up, same area as the other side. And now we're like, okay, this could be resistance. So we mark it, and then came back down to where the previous resistance was, right? That acted as support earlier, and it's acting as support again. And we ended up breaking above the resistance, which in that new resistance up there could actually act as support after you break it, right? So we're going to go over this once again. Support is where the buyers have orders at, right? So that's where the buyers are at. Resistance is where the sellers are at. If support gets broken, it can act as resistance. If resistance gets broken, it can act as support. Okay, make sure to write those down on a notebook or something, study them. Feel free to comment in there if you have any questions. I'll read them, and I'm gonna make sure to write back to you guys. I love you. Stay safe. Have a great rest of your day.